What's up, my Century Units? It's the Centuryman here. So this is my review of Raw is War for the 21st of April, 1997. This is the first Raw after Revenge of the Taker. This episode of Monday Night Raw was good. I like reviewing Raws in 1997. It's way better than watching or even reviewing a Raw in our current timeline. It's 3 hours long in today's Raw. In our current timeline, it's boring. It's a chore to watch. Haven't watched all of Raws in 1997. That's the goal of this WWF in 1997, 25 years later. Reviewing all the Raws and the pay-per-views. Getting really in that 25th anniversary of that year, and plus I'm covering Survivor Series 97. That will be in November. Montreal Screwjob. Another story for another time. Those Raws. I heard like the legends that Raw in 1997 was the best year in years, and they've been playing Raws after this. Before, not before, but after, not on a current timeline. It's 3 hours. Some of the Raws I watch, it's only an hour 30 minutes. 1 hour 30 minutes. Way better than watching a Raw from. Yeah, it's lasted about 3 hours. So boring. I wish they just cut down the hours and just do like a 2 hour show, or an hour and 30 minutes. That's just me. Anyway, so this episode of Monday Night Raw was in New York City, in a small place called Binghamton, New York. So this episode of Raw kicked off with Vince McMahon interviewing Stone Cold Steve Austin, and they announced that Austin is the #1 contender for the World Wrestling Federation Championship at the next pay-per-view. Yeah, the next pay-per-view is called Cold Day in Hell. That's another topic for another time. So, they didn't bring up, in the main event of Revenge of the Taker, in the match between Austin and Brett, that the winner faced Undertaker for the championship at Cold Day in Hell. They didn't really announce that. I looked it up on Wikipedia. Revenge of the Taker on Wikipedia, it says Austin Brett, winner, became #1 contender for the WWF Championship. Yeah, they didn't really announce it, so basically Austin shut down Vince, said, "Shut your pipe hole, no one wants to talk about a pay-per-view in Virginia." And he basically says, "I beat Bret Hart in the center of the ring using his world-famous sharpshooter," and brings up Bulldog and Owen, pulled his dead carcass out of the ring. And he basically challenged him to a fight. And I think he says, "I'm not finished until I breathe, and still along I'm breathing air." And he basically says, "You give me 1 minute," but in reality it was 25 seconds. 20. There was like a timer on the Titantron, counted 25 seconds, and Brett didn't show up. And then Austin says, "Why, coward? I'm gonna go look for him." And then Brett showed up on the Titantron with his younger brother Owen and his brother-in-law Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog. Brett basically set Austin's challenge and basically called him an American scum, a hyena. He called the American wrestling fans hyenas. I think he said like, "Our family is not appealing to the American public, and they love." He said, I think he said loves guts and was it blood and violence. And I think he said to Austin, "You like these people pled like people like Shawn Michaels, the World Wrestling Federation, and the American wrestling fans that are in the toilet. And how do you get the it said like, how do you get a shot at the World Wrestling Federation Championship? After I'm through with you, you go straight to hell." And Austin says, "If I'm going hell, you're going with me." And that was set up a street fight later on on the show. and also like Austin was going, going looking after, trying to go after Brett. We'll get to one segment after the first match of this Raw. So yeah, so basically, Austin says, I'm gonna repeat myself. He said, Brett says, Austin, after I'm through you, you're going to hell, and Austin says, if I go into hell, I'm taking you with me, or take it. I'm down. I think he said I'm down taking with me. So yeah, we'll get to the street fight later on in this show. So the first match to kick off Monday Night Raw. So we got the Sultan, that is the future Rikishi, taking on Ahmed Johnson. Some of these matches on the show, they were kind of filler. I don't want to get into it, more in depth about it. It'd be a very long review. This is just a TV match, a piss break match. Nothing special. It was an okay match. It wasn't terrible. You had Ahmed Johnson basically, I think, hit the Sultan with a spine buster. And then you got the members of the Nation of Domination trying to interfere. They're coming down to the ramp. Ahmed Johnson grabbed like a 2x4 and hit the Sultan with the plank of wood. And Ahmed Johnson got himself disqualified, so Sultan wins. I don't understand why they're gonna push the Sultan. That's Rikishi. He was not really doing anything at the time. The Sultan gimmick, I'm guessing that's a prototype version of Tensai. When Tensai, debuted in 2012, Matt Bloom returned to the company. Yeah, I understand he wrestled in Japan during that time before he made his return to the company. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a racist jingle, because Rikishi is not Muslim, he's Samoan. It's just like, just because he's dark skinned doesn't mean, let's give him a gimmick and he's Arab. I don't think he speaks during his time as the Sultan. I think he became Rikishi, 2 years later, and that's another story for another time. So yeah, it was nothing special about it. It just said furthering up the rivalry between Ahmed Johnson and the Nation of Domination. That to bring up that they did a match. They announced a match that if Ahmed Johnson wins this match, it was I think it's a gauntlet type of match. The Nation will be disbanded. That's another topic for another time. A future classic Raw review for another time. So. Then you got Austin still looking at, he was trying to looking for Bret Hart. Saw his dressing room door says the Hart Foundation. They should have got the new Hart Foundation, because the original Hart Foundation was the tag team, in the 80s with Bret Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, with Jimmy Hart as their manager. So Austin basically he's basically trying to break the door down with a chair, and Brett says, I think he said, let's give him what he wants. I think he said give me some respect. I shouldn't put up with this. That's all he's trying to say. I almost forget about it, but I managed to remember in the last minute. So yeah, this is up the street fight at later on the show. So. Then we got Ken Shamrock, and also they brought up Vader, because he's not on the show. He's in Kuwait, so let's talk about it. So in reality, Vader, I think he's in jail because at the time the WWF traveled, did their house shows in Kuwait, that Vader slapped a almost say a wrestling fan, but he kind of slapped a news reporter because he said wrestling is fake. Vader took offense to it, and he slapped the referee. Keep saying referee. He slapped the news reporter, so he's in jail. Shamrock, I think they announced that at Cold Day of Hell that Ken Shamrock and Vader gonna have a match. So Ken Shamrock, basically says, I really hate bullies. I deal with bullies as a kid, in my teenage years, and then in my adult years, and he said, and also he said, I'm gonna be judge and jury, and also he botches he kind of it really got the date wrong for his match at they didn't really call it Cold Day in Hell, but he said the 13th of March instead of we're in May. He's supposed to say 13th of May. He just can't just say 13th of March. So, and also Jerry Lawler kind of confronts Shamrock, and he brings up like Mike Tyson and basically Shamrock trying to challenge Tyson to a fight. I don't think they did that, that because Tyson showed up on WWF television the following year in 1998. He became the enforcer in the Michaels Austin match at Mania 14 for the title. So don't think they, on paper he probably might be good, but yeah, Tyson's not really a pro wrestler. I don't think he might train to become a wrestler. He did show up in wrestling television in recent years, in AEW, because I don't think he's probably trained for the moonset. I don't know. Anyway, so that's the Ken Shamrock interview, and then it was supposed to be Austin and Brett in a street fight, but instead, this is more of an angle than an actual match. Then you got Owen and Bulldog and Brett beating down Austin, and then Shawn Michaels came out of nowhere, came to the rescue, grabbed the chair. I think he hit Owen in the head with the blue chair. It's a shame that you don't see in WWE. I think I think they do chair shots to the head, but in but in WWE they don't do that. I feel like a great example when Triple H hit Undertaker in the head with the chair. That was in WrestleMania 27 way back in 2011. He got in trouble. So yeah, they end up like hitting your opponent in the gut with the chair, but not in the head. So anyway, so Shawn grabbed the chair, hit Owen in the head with the chair, and chased both Owen and Bulldog out of the arena through the crowd, and then the whole Brett for a minute or two, beating down Austin. He's about to wrap the chair in Austin's leg, trying to break it. Austin got out at the last minute, and then Austin grabbed the chair, hit Brett with the chair, and chopped Brett's leg with the chair, trying to break his knee. And then he locked in the sharpshooter onto Brett. Brett tapped out, and the result that Brett injured his knee, and he got the Paramedics, and referees trying to help, and Owen and Bulldog trying to help Brett, get on the stretcher. And then you got like Gorilla Monsoon confronting Stone Cold Steve Austin, says, we have rules, you broke every single rule, and Austin says, I do not care, I want your ass out of the building. And I seen it over the years, it's like, do not talk back to me. No one, it's like, nobody talks back to me. Don't talk back to me, I'll whip your ass too. And it's not the last time we see Austin in the show, and we'll get to the next match. So the next match, we got Tiger Ali Singh. I don't really count Austin and Brett as an actual match. That was just more of an angle. So yeah, the second match of the show, officially second match of the show, we got Tiger Ali Singh. Tiger Ali Singh taking on, I'm gonna butcher this dude's name, Salvatore Sinceri. So this is just a squash match, putting over Tiger Ali Singh. They brought up that he won some Kuwaiti Cup. I think I think I mentioned it in my review of One Night. Was it One Night Only, that he won a Kuwait Cup, and he brings up his dad Jeet Singh. He was not speaking English in that promo on that show in September of that year. So anyway, so it's nothing much about it. Also, there was a split screen when you basically had Bulldog and Owen, and also there was a funny part when the paramedics trying to escort put Brett on the stretcher. One of them touched Brett's knee. It's like, Jesus, God damn my leg. Kind of laughed my ass off. Yeah, the referee touched Brett's injured leg, and Brett just shout once again, Jesus, my leg, God damn it. That was funny. I'm glad they didn't censor off on the network version of this show. when I watched like this segment years ago, about 10 years ago, before the dominant of the network era in WWE, they kind of blur it out. But yeah, I'm glad they, I thought you said Jesus Christ, but it's just said just Jesus. That's my leg, god damn it. So anyway, so you had mostly you had like a split screen with Owen, Bulldog, Panamanics, and the referees. You had the suits of ties, and also one of the suits of ties earlier when Austin trying to confront Brett in the dressing room. That one of them is Pat Patterson, the future stooge of Vince McMahon, and also you had Earl Hebner's still a referee at the time. He was also wearing a suit. I think he's also a suit and tie as well, than a referee. So yeah, they were just escorting Brett to the ambulance. Nothing special. Yeah, I think like you had Owen confronting Earl Hebner, um, shouting at him. I can't remember what he said. I think he said like, "This is not supposed to happen," something like that. And we'll get to more of Brett and what that another segment. We'll get to that shortly. So yeah, nothing. It was just a squad. It was back and forth. Salvatore has some offense. Cesare, whatever his name is. But in the end, Tiger Allison hit Salvatore Sincere with a Izagiri kick for the win. Then we got more segments with basically you had the paramedics and the referees and Owen Bulldog escorting Brett into the ambulance. And then we got Stone Cold Steve Austin in the ambulance. He's on the driver's seat in the ambulance. I think he said, "I told you he's going to hell." I think he said, "I told you I'm taking to hell with me." And then Austin continues to hit Brett in the ambulance. I think it's a spin, a carbon copy when Austin injured Pillman's leg and attacked him in the ambulance and grabbed the ambulance car keys and throw it away. That's similar to that. Basically he beat Austin beat Brett in the ambulance, and then Bulldog and Owen beat down Austin. Then Austin managed to escape, and then they managed to put Brett in the ambulance, and they drove off to the hospital. And then I think Owen and Bulldog says, "We're gonna kill him. Can't wait for next week." So this is I'll get to my final ratings of this show. You have to be a bit patient. So the next match we got Jesse James, that's the future Road Dogg, taking on Rockabilly. Rockabilly is Billy Gunn. This is their rematch from Revenge of the Taker. This match sucked. Yeah, the first match at Revenge of the Taker sucked, and the rematch sucked. Short and simple. The whole bulk of the match you had Rockabilly. I'm gonna call him Billy Gunn. This is gonna get confusing. Billy Gunn really working on Jesse James, and Jesse James got his offense, but in the end, Rockabilly, Billy Gunn hit Jesse James. That was a fucking alarm. Who put a fucking alarm? Anyway, so yeah, in the end, Rockabilly hit Jesse James with a swinging neck breaker for the win, and then Jesse James attacked Rockabilly, and then Honky Top Man, who's Rockabilly's new manager, and also Billy Gunn's now had darker hair instead of his traditional blonde hair. Honky Top Man hit Jesse James with the guitar. That was it. Then you got HBK, Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold Steve Austin kind of argue. I think Shawn says, "I'm not here to help you, I'm here to hurt them," and then they arguing. Gorilla Monsoon trying to be the peacemaker, and they end up feuding. They end up feuding later on I think they had a match at King of the Ring, and also their title match at WrestleMania 14 the following year. It's funny they never had further matches because it has to do with when Austin's on his the peak of his prime, peak of his powers, his popularity. Shawn was on an early retirement for 4 years, and then by the time Shawn made his comeback in 2002, Austin just took his ball and went home, did the walkout. So it's a shame they should have had more matches. You know, I think Bran and Austin might have some good chemistry. Sean and Austin should have had some. I think they got some chemistry, but that's another topic for another time. So then you got Mankind. He brings up, the world title match at Revenge of the Taker the previous night. Undertaker set fire to Paul Bearer's face. He says his flesh, basically hanging off his handsome face. He said I think I smelled the stench. He Undertaker something about he's disfigured like me, referring to Paul Bearer, and here he called Paul Bearer his Uncle Paul. And then Jesus, you hear the Undertaker's theme music. So no Paul Bearer on this show. It began to, this is the start when Undertaker, this will be the start of the speculation storyline, furthering up the personal rivalry between Undertaker and Paul Bearer, the allegations when Undertaker set fire to his parents' funeral home as a little kid, killed his parents, and Kane, that will be, he has to wait until October till the debut of Kane. That was at Bad Blood 97 in the first Hell in a Cell match, a story for another time. So yeah, moving on to the main event. The main event we got The Undertaker taking on Hunter Hearst Helmsley. That's the future Triple H, with China in the Triple H's corner. Match is good. I really enjoyed this match, and also during this match he had Goldust. He's not really Goldust without. He's Goldust without the face paint. Sorry, just a bit of a tongue twisting moment. Goldust without the face paint, with his wife, at the time his real life wife, Marlena. That's Terry Reynolds. I think they end up ditching the Goldust character. And they're just referring to Dustin Rhodes. I don't want to get into it. Why it's real, why it's fake. I don't want to get into it. Another topic for another time. Anyway, so the match was fine. I really enjoyed this match. Nothing. There are bad matches. Really, after there are bad matches in future years. I'm not saying it's a terrible match. It was fine for what it is. And then so they had Mankind holding I think he's holding like a flamethrower. It's a mini thrower. Sorry, another tongue twisting moment. Jesus Christ. So he grabbed the flamethrower. I don't know why it's called. It's basically like a canister. What was it? It looks like a fire extinguisher without the white foam. I think it's a mini flamethrower. He hit Undertaker in the head with that, and also I think he exposed, he was wearing a bandage. The Undertaker, showing his burnt flesh. I don't know if that was kayfabe or they actually set fire to the Undertaker's face. Building up their title match at Revenge of the Taker. So anyway, so Mankind is about to set fire to the Undertaker's face with the mini flamethrower. Then Taker basically grab Mankind in the throat, and then Taker and Mankind kind of brawl into the crowd, and then you got Marlena haven't showed up on WWF television for weeks after WrestleMania 13, choked China with the belt, and then Dustin Rhodes, I'm gonna call him Dustin Rhodes, he's not Goldust, attacking Helmsley, and then they end up brawling. I think they set up a match on I think it's the following week's episode of Raw, or the Raw after that. So the rivalry still continued between Hunter Hearst Helmsley and Goldust. So moving on to the final segment of this Raw. Yeah, once again Vince interviewing Stone Cold Steve Austin. Austin says, send Brett back to Canada. He kind of heelish up the fans a little bit, says, you didn't help me, where are you? I did it by myself. He said to Vince that, you were part of the Stone Cold bandwagon. And also, he addressed to The Undertaker, he says, I'm done with Bret Hart, something like that. And then he said to The Undertaker, says, said about his like his you can bring your tombstones and your creatures. You know, so I think the two people will call his that call the fans creatures. That is the Undertaker and Jeff Hardy. Anyway, so you can bring that shiny gold belt. Trying to get to the key points. You know, it was a bit rambling. Something about like name drop Bulldog and Owen. You know, they're trying to looking for Austin, and then yeah, they showed up, attacked Stone Cold Steve Austin because what they did to Brett, and then Shawn once again came to the rescue, and then we got the return of Brian Pillman. We haven't saw Brian Pillman since 1996, the previous year, after Austin attacked, injured the injured leg of Brian Pillman. So he looking forward, uh, basically looking for. Sorry, he's looking forward to break Austin's leg, and then Shawn came to the rescue, stopping Pillman, and that was the end. So, and yeah, and Pillman also is the new member of the Hart Foundation. The reason why, because Pillman, I done my research that Pillman trained with the Hart family. When he trying to become a pro wrestler. You know, and also I got a DVD. The Hart Family DVD. He did train with the Hart family. To become a pro wrestler, and he went on to. I think he did I think he had runs. Maybe he had a run in. Was it Stampede Canadian Wrestling, and then he went on to Gwyneth Patches. He went on to go to WCW and then ECW, and now in the WWF. So anyway, so this episode of Monday Night Raw for the 21st of April 97, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I think this was a good show. This is the Stone Cold Steve Austin show, man. Austin kind of carried the bulk of the show. It's between Austin and Brett, continuing their rivalry. The matches, nothing so much, it was just kind of filler. But yeah, I'll give it 8 out of 10, yeah. Just watch it for the Austins attacking on Brett, Yeah, the matches like they kind of feel like Sultan versus Ahmed Johnson. It was just furthering up the rivalry between Johnson and the Nation of Domination. Tiger Allison taking on Salvatore Sincera. It was just building up Tiger Allison. Unfortunately, his career in the company didn't pan out that well. Jesse James and Rocky Billy was meh. They were better off teaming up. End up teaming up later on in the year than having a feud. They end up feuding in TNA a decade later. Didn't really pan out that well. Undertaker Helmsley, it was fine. There are better matches in future years, but that's not their best work. Mankind showing up. Why they continue it? The rivalry between Mankind and Taker beats me, because you're building up Taker against Austin at Revenge, a Cold Day in Hell, and also and also the return of Pillman was good. So yeah, I give it a thumbs up of a show. So hope you enjoy my review of Raw's War for the 21st of April 1997. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Smash the like button, click the bell, click the like, subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube, be part of the Central Unit for more wrestling videos and more. And this is the Central Man officially signing out. Check you later. And next time review Monday Night Raw for the 28th of April 97.